to resolve issues around safe schools and safe environment for students. And it wouldn't be, a complete conversation if we do not have an educationist in the studio with us on a typical day like this. So yes, we have an educationist with us, so with vast experience in dealing with issues like this. And of course, the other side of it is the fact that the effect on the teachers, on the students, when the environment is not safe, or why is the environment not even safe? Of course, we have Auntie Wemi to delve straight into that. So let me begin by welcoming the beautiful Auntie Wemi. Good morning.
Good
I love
morning.
your hair.
Thank you.
I love your hair.
Thank you. I
Fine.
love you too.
It's
I love
fine.
you.
It's fine.
Thank you.
All right, Wemi Madebi, our cognitive behavior therapist, is here this morning. And of course, we have dearest Temitope Oladeji. Yes, here this morning.
for
Good morning,
having me.
Christiana Temitope Oladeji. Yeah, good
Yes.
morning.
Good morning.
It's a
Thank you
pleasure
for
having you.
me.
And thanks for sparing us this few minutes. I know that you have a really tight schedule. So let me just get right into the conversation. And I like to begin with so many stories that we've heard in recent times. Let's begin with the one that happened last week, and that's the one in Delta State, where a young boy of a year old, I say he's a year because whether he's 1 year and a few months, is a year old.
Yeah.
Kò tí pọ̀dún méjì. You know, a year-old young man was beaten. I call it black and blue. It's as if you went to fight with an adult and the boy died. It grieves me personally, because when you go on social media, people are asking questions like, what is our 1 year old doing in school?
School, exactly.
These are some of the questions people are asking. And then this concept of Mabami no mommy now becomes, Shebi, I've been telling you people I don't allow teachers to beat my own children. The people who say that now have, they have a good reason.
Yeah.
They're like, when I was telling you people I fight teachers who beat my children, then it all comes back to, the Otonio. You see the problem? We have this society that we're confused as a people. Do we beat? Do we not beat? How did we get to this point where we're flogging 1-year-old children? And there are rules and laws and regulations and all of that to own in the school? Please, explain it to me.
Well, safety in our schools has to do with a mindset of whoever is in charge. Now, school business is not like every other business, but it is still like every other business where there are standard, you understand, operating systems. There are ways to do things. Now, when you are employing teachers or anybody into a school system, their emotional well-being has to be observed, their attitudes. In my own case, nobody comes into the establishment, no matter what you are doing with us. I have to meet with you. I have to interact with you. I tell them that the chat is very important. So by the time you are giving me attitude, you are impatient with me, whatever, sometimes I spend a whole day. I actually learned that from someone I worked with in the past. I could make you hang around for a whole day, and I'm observing your attitudes. At the end of the day, if your attitude towards me, if you are impatient, you get angry easily, stuff like that, no matter how brilliant you are, you can't work with me. So at the beginning, when people are coming in, we have a lot of issues in the country now. The economy, how it has affected the emotions of people. So teaching is school environment, teaching is a job that's seemingly available, and people just coming to a hand. You understand? Because
Everybody just comes into
everybody
the
just
industry.
comes into the
Because
system.
okay, when lo wash a teacher,
No, I should teacher.
because it's the
available.
most available job.
Exactly. But empathy is very, very key for anybody to succeed as a teacher. Because whatever a child is passing through, whatever is the situation you find on ground, what should be paramount on your mind is the well-being of the child. If a child has done some, I remember way back when we just started the school, I had a little girl that had some challenges that I didn't even understand. She was 1+, And I realized that teachers started taking her for granted. You know what I did? I followed the girl all over the place. That girl is a star today. She weighed on her body. She couldn't control a lot of things. And I spoke with the mother, and the mother told me what the child had passed through, you know, from like 5 months. And I decided to monitor the child, follow up the child, even though the teachers didn't understand. You know, teaching is a vocation. It's a vocation. It's something that is learned. It's not something somebody will just wake up one day, because people that actually attended the colleges of education or studied in the Department of Education in the university learn about psychology, child psychology,
I was actually
and a
going to
lot
ask that
and a
question.
lot of things. You understand? So it's not a job that people just wake up in the morning and say, I want to do. Now, I crossed over from accounting to education. And because of that, I have studied widely over the period of 15, 18 years. And I understand it when people are coming in. They feel it's a job. Is it not to just work with the children? Is it not to just to understand the topic and teach? How about the emotion?
It looks as if anybody that is remotely brilliant should be a
no,
teacher.
No, it doesn't work that way.
They look at your grades, they're like, bring your WAEC certificate, let's see how you passed this.
You have to
Did
be
you pass
emotionally
WAEC?
stable.
Oh,
You-
to just be a teacher?
You have to be. You have to be.
But teachers, sorry,
You have to be.
are schools safe? There is a S attached to that. Are schools safe? I'm sorry, when me I was in school, all the way in primary school, me I not forget Mrs. Adewumi she's the one that made me not like biology and we're talking about in the 90s, so and I don't understand you say our teachers are supposed to be emotionally stable.
They are supposed to be. I said supposed.
To
But
be.
they are human beings.
They are
too.
human beings. But this is, you know, in a discussion with somebody recently, religion, family, and our workplace are the, you know, the areas, or how will I put it now, the scope of our lives. You understand? Now, religion, you can decide to leave one parish to another parish. Family, you could be my sis, and I can decide that because we don't agree, we've sort of managed our relationship, and I can maintain
The distance
for
it.
peace and manage it. But when you talk about work, career, and all of it, if you cannot deal, don't just go there. That's it.
Now, talking about schools, okay, and then the situation in our country and all of that, using the case study of this child that just passed on. And so do you support that toddlers are meant to be in school?
Well,
There is toddlers.
They come with homework. They wear
Wait,
school
they have
uniform.
boarding school. In this world where we have boarding school for toddlers, is that where you are asking if they are supposed to be in
All
school?
Because it's a
those.
field. Let's
All
hear
of those.
how-
They
all
have
of-
boarding school for toddlers.
all of those to a reasonable extent are pure child abuse. Besides the fact that there's a place of early childhood education.
So what's the age for early childhood education?
Well, from age 2,
Age 2.
from age 2, and this is not education as in the writing and reading education.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's more of playing,
Exposure
learning,
to the environment.
you know, learning in the playing style. You understand? They come into the school, we sing songs, we dance, and of course they are well-being, they are welfare, even in the curriculum. For an early childhood environment, an health officer has to be part of the system.
So is that the case in Nigeria as we speak, in the education
In some
department?
place, no, in the curriculum,
Okay.
it is clearly stated. You know, we have curriculum.
Yes,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
We have for early childhood. Yeah,
Okay.
it is clearly written 0 to 5 on it. We have 0 to 5 written on it, and everything that is supposed to be in place are clearly stated. The personnel clearly stated. So if things are not in place, then we should look at where what has gone wrong. You understand? There's a standard. You understand? The homework thing is not in the curriculum. We are to teach, we are to interact, relate with them,
So,
to
but,
encourage
but they say
speech.
that they take this homework home to be able to remind the kids of what they learned in school and
We're
have them.
talking
Okay,
toddlers in particular.
Yes, so
Do you know the magic age for handwriting is age 3? Go and find out.
3.
Age 3
But
is
we
the magic.
have one half who already
What do you
holding
mean
their
by magic?
pencils.
Oh,
They are
See,
scribbling.
they are
What do you
not
mean?
they are by the time they are like 2,
I don't understand.
they are interested in holding the
In
pen.
holding, yeah.
Okay.
You
Which is-
understand? So they can only scribble. And the
Okay.
ideal thing is that we teach eye-hand coordination.
Okay.
You understand? We use we do picture reading.
Okay.
So there
Okay.
could be an apple on this
Okay.
paper. Now the child is meant to identify the apple.
Okay.
And when the child identifies the apple, if the child is interested in scribbling, you
Okay.
understand, the child could scribble on the apple. And what's that doing? The child is stylishly taking in
the picture.
the picture.
picture.
So that is the eye-hand coordination. So it goes back to the brain. But of course, at that level, if a child is not ready to deal,
Did you just say I don't
coordination,
understand.
eye,
hand,
ojú,
eye,
ọwọ́,
hand,
coordination.
coordination. Do you
Preparing
know
the
that there are
child
schools?
preparing the child for reading
reading
and
and
writing.
writing.
Oh my
There is a
God.
time for preparation, and during preparation, you are not really hard on the child, because from my own
Oti for
experience,
1 to 200.
Yeah.
Tí
that
I
is
have
an
a
abuse.
question.
That's an abuse.
I have a question.
The curriculum
Now,
is available.
we have
It's an open
we
document.
have
Do they use
situations. We have situations where within that age, if a child cannot write, teachers beat. What do you think?
The teachers are not professional. In some schools, you find a lot of people that are not professional doing the job. A lot of teachers will come in, they have never had access to the curriculum. You can't beat my own biological children, set of twins. I scribble. My handwriting when I'm not in the mood is something else. I have different types of. So when my children came and their handwriting was funny, and teachers were like, madam, even your children. The question I will ask is, their reasoning and thinking. That is what we are supposed to develop at early stage. Reasoning and thinking.
Because-
so all the activities have to be geared towards developing the
this
thinking
place.
and reasoning
Ability of
capacity
children.
them. So I've told you, writing, the magic age for handwriting is age 3. Now by 2, because the child sees pencils,
Everyone
Pencils
holding.
everywhere.
and there are even special pencils for them at that time, chubby ones,
Really
because of
chubby
the
pencils.
because of the tiny fingers to encourage them.
So they're supposed to have really chubby
Yeah.
pencils.
And when a child is, they are handwriting specialists.
Yes,
You know?
yeah.
I do.
Now, when
I
a
do.
child is not like at age 3 struggling with writing, you don't beat. It's a preparatory school. 0 to 5 is preparatory. You understand? And we still have that 5 to 7 is another preparatory stage.
I have a question.
Go on.
Because this school is my environment where I deal.
Yeah.
So there are some teachers, they just don't understand why a child should not be dealt with this way. They believe even when you have policies
That's the
in
way
place,
we deal with all children.
because I won't believe schools need to have policies in place.
Definitely.
Even when you still have some. So what do you think is responsible for this behavior?
Well, see, in school business, like in manufacturing business or whatever business, supervision is key. Now, there should be safety officers, academic
Okay.
officers, whatever officers moving around. Now, whatever goes on, I move around the school. I call it a doctor, when doctors move around,
Just-
check.
Ward round.
Word round. I tell them I'm taking word round. I don't need to enter classrooms. I just move around. And while moving around, I could hang around the window. You understand? And observe the mood of the child. And of course, from time to time, we call meetings. How are the children doing? You have to write reports about
Which
the children
means,
in your care.
the person who is in charge of the school or who owns the school or whoever it is that that owns the environment must do everything possible to make sure you have the experience.
There have to be policies, and every day you will look at your policy and move around to ensure that.
So people who don't have business running schools should not run schools.
So do you want to say that school is actually a business or a safer place for children?
It is. As a business, it's very demanding. It takes the whole of you. It takes the whole of you. I remember early days, my children will ask me, "Mommy, are you our mommy?" Because I am everybody's mommy. Up till yesterday, I still stood by the window talking to my nursery, and they were like, "No, when I get to my nursery class, are you my mommy? Are you my mommy?" Yes, I'm your mommy. Emotionally, the children should feel safe. They should feel like a school should be a home away from home. Besides the academics, the emotions, the psychological, physical well-being of the child is moving around the school and is, moving in a clumsy or funny manner. You should be able to call the child. It boils down to observation, supervision, and all of it. So and people are trained to actually do this.
You say people are trained.
Professionals are not in the system.
That's the word. So
because I want to ask
people who are more like surviving through the system.
That is the majority of the people in the system. And besides, you know that most people that did education in school, a certain percentage were given to
the course.
It wasn't a choice.
It wasn't a choice. And that's one time. And the day they step into the system, in their mind, I'm never going to teach. You understand? And their minds are not open to absorb some of those things.
They went to school to just pass the exam and get out of the place.
So how do we then help teachers, or people who deal with children to have emotional stability? Because it's our children that would end up.
Well.
Did you just say emotional stability? When they are not stable from the home, how exactly do they
get environment matters.
But the truth is that the moment they have come into the school environment, it has become their fundamental human right. For them to be safe, psychologically, physically, emotionally, and you that have set up a system. You understand? It is expected that you put some things in place.
Which like means more money.
Let me tell you something. The issue, the Maslow. You understand? Yeah. Sometimes it's not the money. I'm doing a job I really don't like. No matter how much I'm being paid, my heart is not there.
Or fulfillment.
You understand? I know of people. As I was coming in, I was chatting with my husband, and I told her that a particular cleaner that just joined us is doing so well. I even picked my phone to call the person that referred her. She's doing so well. It's beautiful when you have an environment where you don't tell people what to do. Excuse me. Empathy. We are talking of children. You have your own children.
Even when you don't.
You have lived with people. You are human. You have children. But then, as an adult, when you have children,
human feeling is now missing. Househelps are maltreating their Mogas children.
It is because of the challenges we have in the society. Everybody is hungry and angry.
There is no empathy in our environment.
Everybody is hungry and angry.
At every given opportunity, the child.
And that is why they are saying the don't beat thing is this. You don't know the emotion people are bringing into the environment. What I tell people is that by the time you get to my gate, drop it. Because if you bring it in, forgive me, I'm on TV, you bully my children, I'm a big bully. Just keep it somewhere.
Big bully. So which means we can actually lay the blame of all of this bad behavior at the doorstep of the owners of the school. Because if they pay more attention, then they...
So what is happening in their environment? You set up the environment.
So they should take responsibility.
They should. But at the same time, teachers too, they are not minors. They are professionals. And that's why it's important that you employ professionals. You don't just pick somebody on the road and bring them into the system.
What
You
about
know,
this
when you are
idea then?
counseling and training